Welcome to the Once Upon a Sunday Fantasy Football Podcast with your hosts, Josh Kimmel, Dave Campbell, and Justin Bauerle.
Welcome to Once Upon a Sunday Fantasy Football Podcast, the waiver priority show. With me is Justin, of course, every single Tuesday at noon. Although I almost didn't make it. Had some people that just chat. But hey, guys, I'm up front. I have some important news, some big news to announce to all you people out there shuffling in. We are going to start a Dynasty show on Fridays. So we will be here. We will be here Tuesdays at noon, Wednesdays at 8 p.m., and Fridays at noon. I believe this Friday show will be at 3. We agreed.
9.
9 a.m. Holy crap.
Yeah, you wanted the morning. I was like,
okay,
let's go.
We'll be here 9 a.m. Friday, but I believe it moves to noon after this week. It's just this week was too hectic. So we will be talking Dynasty Fantasy Football strictly on that show, strategies, and there will be a season-long show because it's too much to recap in 45 minutes, honestly, redraft and Dynasty. So if you're into Dynasty or you want to try Dynasty, make sure you tune into that show. Dynasty is a ton of fun.
It is.
But we have week 10. Is it week 10? It's week 10 coming up.
Going on to week 10 already.
It's
That's
insane.
crazy.
We have
four.
We have 4 regular season games left in most leagues. It's it, man. This is it. I know some big trades went down in my home league today. Big trades, keeper leagues. I traded for CMC. Someone else traded for JJ.
Oh,
So
you're the one that was making the push. I was going to ask you about those because that looked a little.
There was one that looked a little bit questionable.
I questioned the guy who got in first.
The Ferguson.
It seemed a little fishy.
Seemed a little fishy. What are you talking about?
I'm
asking you. What are you talking about?
So Justin Jefferson, Jake Ferguson, Tank Dell to the first place team, and all he had to do was give up Devonta Smith and Kyron Williams.
Okay, so if you really want to talk about it, it's a keeper league, and it's a keeper league.
I mean, I guess.
And hold on, the team that got Justin Jefferson isn't in first place, but his team is a fraud. It's my brother Sam. I love my brother, and I'll tell him straight to his face, his team's a fraud because he has injuries, and I'm just gonna say it, his team isn't that great. But he's trying to, and to be fair to the guy who traded Justin Jefferson, Davey, he offered me Justin Jefferson straight up for CJ Stroud. It's a keeper league. I drafted Stroud in the 10th. He can keep him in the 9th. It's also super flex, so it's very valuable. I said, I'm in the 7th seed. I can't be trading for injured players. Sam, my brother who got JJ, is the 1st seed. He's number 1 right now. My team's better. I have more points scored. I have the better team overall. It's just I am the most unlucky player of all time. So that trade happened, and I'm like, this is questionable, but I'm not going to question my brother, and I'm not going to question Davey. Although
it's fine. I think your brother got on over him.
You're not the only one. There's multiple people in this league who think this is 1,000% collusion, 1,000%, and it's already been said in chats. No one's getting hostile. We're just like, hey, it's kind of questionable. Me trying to be like, this is my brother, and it's like one of my best friends. I'm not going to even think about it. Let them be them. Let them have the trade happen. So then I went out and said, fuck this. You want to level up? I'll level up. I want to get CMC traded, but I traded big time Kyler, who I drafted in the 11th round, who can be kept in the 10th. Tajay Spears and Jaylen Warren, all keeper value for the second to last place team who gave me CMC in return.
I mean, but if you're trying to compete this year and just squeak into the playoffs, CMC will not only get you to squeak into the playoffs, it'll help you win the playoffs too. So
I'm not squeaking in. I'm the second highest scoring team. I have CMC. I have Jonathan Taylor. I have Josh Jacobs. I have Travis Kelce. I have CJ Stroud.
You might actually win the league. I mean,
I'm 100% winning the league.
Yeah.
There's no one that has a better team than me. Yeah. I'm just 4 and 5.
You're fine. That is a trade that I like. Because you had to make a change to get in, like not just get in the playoffs to compete for first. You did that.
The other trade didn't really make sense.
The other trade makes absolutely no sense for Davey. Like why do you give up the amount of crap that you just gave up to get wide receiver 2 for the Philadelphia Eagles, and Kyron Williams, who's coming off an injury where on a team that doesn't have an RB1 ever.
And you can argue keeper status and trade calculators and all that
Yeah.
stuff. First off, Devontae Smith wasn't drafted in a super ultra keeper spot. And Kyron Williams, maybe he thinks that Kyron Williams is the guy. I'm seeing Myles Gaskin. I'm seeing other guys who are just a guys that will be easily replaced. I'm not saying Kyron Williams will be replaced, but there's a high possibility he will. Look, Henderson and Royce Freeman came in and did the same exact thing that Kyron did. Kyron isn't that special to me. But if he thinks he's special, that's why I'm not going to say anything, because he could be a good keeper, because he was someone that could be kept in the 10th round. This guy was a late draft pick. I get the value for Davey because Davey's out of it. He's done. He has no chance. But I don't know. To me, it's questionable.
I made a trade last night too. So.
Oh, you want to talk about your trade? Hey, we're just here to talk about our trades, everyone.
Mine's quick. DeAndre Hopkins and a 3rd round pick for a 2nd and 3rd next year.
Yeah, I saw. I approved it.
I now have 4 2nd rounds and 3 1st rounds for this upcoming draft. So
that's awesome. That is awesome. But hey, we're here to talk about the week 9 of fantasy football and the priority waivers, the injuries. But we're going to do something new. We're going to break down just tell you guys the top 5 positions or people at each position of the week, all coming from Fantasy Pros PPR scoring. So keep that in mind. I know a lot of you people might go, well, this guy's here in my league. Well, look. Every league is different. Every league has different scoring. That's why you can't pull it off of your league. And I'm not just talking to you, Justin, talking to many people who do that. No, seriously, they're like, well, this guy.
No, it was weird because I have a standard scoring PPR league and Fantasy Pros was different. So I don't know what's difference, like how they score, but I mean, this is universal for everyone. So go with that scoring.
The number one guy of the quarterback of the week and the number one guy in fantasy overall, CJ Stroud, 41.8 points. That was awesome. Great times. Dak Prescott, number 2. So Texas is leading the way, 28.4. Then Jalen Hurts, 25.9. Josh Allen at 4, 25.7. And Joshua Dobbs in relief, just getting traded, 24.9 points.
In relief. Like, didn't even know the play calls, didn't know his players, didn't know anybody. That was insane.
I have something to say about that, man. I'm tired of everyone saying learning playbooks are hard and this and that and every bull, dude. It's a game. It's a game that children play. Yeah. It's not that hard. To me, and I'm not calling these guys dumb, but the majority of them seem really dumb if you can't even pick up a playbook and figure it out. Seriously.
Essentially what was happening, and Kevin O'Connell mentioned this on the Pat McAfee show yesterday, that he would call the play in. Josh Dobbs would read off the play to his players. They knew what was going on. And then from the time they broke from huddle to the time he snapped the ball, Kevin O'Connell was like, okay, this receiver's doing that. This receiver's doing this. You need to look at that. And that was it. He had 3 seconds to tell him exactly what to do on that play. And by the end of the game, he was like, yeah, I got it. We already ran this play. You don't need to tell me that.
Yeah.
So he is insane.
Yeah, that's great. It's awesome. Good for Josh Dobbs.
This is like the Jonnu Smith story of the year.
Yeah, I hope for sure Minnesota makes a run. Where am I H-Han gone? H-Han, he's gone, man. He's gone. I hope he's
healthy now. He should be back this week. So
I'm hoping. I really am hoping, because he is a spark plug the Miami Dolphins need.
We're gonna see a lot of Texans players in this top 5, by the way. So
yeah, we are. On the next on the running back position of it, let me filter that out, because wasn't really prepared today, guys. Not gonna lie. Although I did text you everyone this morning.
You did. I was like, okay, wow. Number
1, Rachaad White, 27.9 points. That's really weird. Running back 55, Ramondre Stevenson has showed himself, 22.9. Let's go. Josh Jacobs, 21.8. Glad to see him rolling. Austin Eckler, 21 points even. And Keaton Mitchell, 20.4. Baltimore Ravens. I'm sure we're going to be talking about him pretty soon in the waiver. Life.
Their running back scored 38 points this week.
I hate it. I hate everything about that offense. I hate everything. We had on the Beer and Sports podcast Monday nights on the Finstock Sports Network. Me and Josh had a conversation. Wingate had a conversation about Lamar versus Burrow. Like, who's the MVP? He asked me, who's the MVP? And I said Burrow. I think Burrow's the MVP right now. I think if I had a vote for the NFL MVP, it'd be Joe Burrow. Hands down. I don't think anyone can tell me.
A healthy Burrow versus a not healthy Burrow is that team's completely different between the two, and you could see that from week to week. I mean, over the last 4 weeks, the Bengals have looked unstoppable.
Yeah,
And
and they have, and he's been on fire, and he's been unstoppable. And Lamar on the other side, it's been good, been very good. But the numbers are down touchdown wise. The running backs are getting it done. I believe Gus Edwards scored 25 touchdowns in a row at this point. It's very annoying. It's very frustrating. But he asked me, switch Lamar and Joe Burrow. Where would you, if you take Lamar and put him on the Bengals, you put Joe Burrow on the Ravens, like who would you like more?
I think those wide receivers would do a lot better on the Ravens.
That's what I told him. He's like, yeah, but they don't have the talent. I said, no, they don't have the guy who's giving them the ball. Lamar is throwing the ball really, really well. But Rashad Bateman's not made for that offense. There's no one throwing him jump balls. No one's throwing him contested catches. He's only had 4 contested catches all season. 4, targets. That's his role. And Lamar's not throwing those balls. But we're not talking about quarterbacks. We're talking about Keaton Mitchell. That's why. Lamar in that offense is a run-first offense. It doesn't matter who's in the backfield.
Yeah.
Top 5 receivers, Mr. Tank Dell, 29.6. Who saw that coming? CD Lamb, 28.1. Who saw that coming? I mean, everyone. Here's one. Noah Brown, 27.3. Rostered in 2% of leagues, guys.
Texas leading the way again here.
Amari Cooper, 24.9. Not sure where that came from.
Texas.
And Stephon Diggs, 22.6. So that's kind of the who's who of fantasy. Noah Brown and Tank Dell. That's kind of weird, but the other guys almost got in there, like AJ Brown and T. Higgins. I do want to say Deontay Johnson was wide receiver 6 this week. So
finally saw the end zone for the first time and since Big Ben played. So
yeah, that's nice to see. And to wrap it up with tight ends, we have Dalton Schultz, again, another Texan, 27 points. Cole Kmet with the amazing diving Moss catch, 23.5. Cade Otton, 23. Jake Ferguson, 22.1. And Jonnu, 21 points.
Who's been saying Johnny all season? I'm just
going
to ask.
You have.
Something to note with all 4 of the QB1, RB1, wide receiver 1, and tight end 1 this season or this week, they're all career highs for each of those 4 players. So
there you go.
Killer week this week for them.
All right, let's get on to some news and notes about these injuries, man.
Time for injury news.
Not much to say about this week. I know you did this week, so I really don't see anything major. Yes, there's some big names on this list, but I don't think anyone's going to miss major time that's relevant. Yeah, that one. But to me, that's not relevant.
He's not. He's QB 30 this year so far. He's been out, and then also on top of that, he's just not. That team's not been playing well. But
no, they're not playing well.
That is major for the fact that sell every Giants player you have.
You can't sell them. No one's buying them.
No.
So Daniel Jones ACL after the season. It was rough to see. I was rooting for Daniel Jones. I really was rooting for him. Last year was a nice year for him, but I kind of knew it was a fraud-ass year because they played nobody.
There's people out there saying that maybe that's his last game as a Giant. I'm like, he just signed a big contract last year. Like, look, $32 million next year. That is dead cap if you cut him or trade him. So
I'm not a numbers guy. I don't know cap, but I do know that they just signed him, and there's no way that this is the last we'll see of him. He won't be ready for the season starter. I don't think so. That's going to be interesting.
Things have happened.
I know weird things have happened.
I mean, literally, Von Miller tore his ACL late in the season, like almost playoff time, and he was already a week 1. So
don't compare Von Miller to Daniel Jones. If you put them side by side, one looks like a football player.
I'm thinking of age.
Okay,
but yeah.
I'm thinking of genetics and probably God-given gifts.
Aaron Rodgers might play this season off of a torn Achilles, so
that'd be freaking legit. I'm down for that.
I'm actually I don't like Aaron Rodgers, but I'd be down for that.
It sucks if you have Saquon, but you weren't even starting any of these receivers anyway. Cam Akers, torn Achilles, out for the season. Another one that's a second. He might be done forever. Yeah. He might be done forever.
Is it time for the funeral music, even though he's injured?
I don't want to put a funeral on this guy. I really
Okay.
don't. He is dead though. Good night.
It's
Good
good.
night, Cam Makers. I don't know. There's one controversy where he hurt somebody, and I've been going at it with people on Twitter and on text message where he said this was like 2 years ago. He hurt somebody and somebody was hurt bad. And Cam Makers, I heard him say it. Nobody can tell me the difference. He goes, "Is he hurt?" And someone said yes. And then he said live on TV, "Good, fuck him." Now it's come out where he didn't say that. Apparently, he said something else, which the everything else that people are saying he didn't say good fuck him. Bullshit. I read the lips. I heard it on audio. Now people are saying he didn't say that. So when I said when he got, I was drunk and on Sunday and I heard the Achilles. I said good fuck him. Everyone gave me this look. And I'm like, he said it to someone else.
Goddamn.
He said it to someone else, right? I mean, go watch the YouTube clip, people.
Okay.
Go watch the YouTube clip. Make your own justification on what Cam Akers said.
That's really funny.
Dallas Goedert forearm will be placed on IR. The tight end room is already weak. It sucks, but he wasn't getting many targets anyway. It was the AJ Brown show and nobody else. Does suck though because you did spend pretty good capital on him, and he was an instant starter no matter what week to week. But it seems like he's going to be out for the rest of the season.
Well,
fantasy season. I mean, fantasy season. I would say because think about it. Think about it. If you need him and you're going into the stretch and you don't have a tight end, that's the rest of your season. I'm not counting playoffs. I'm counting regular season right now. Yep. So he will be out for the remaining of the regular season. So if you are someone that is trying to get in and you don't have any more IR spots, there's no reason for you to hold on to him or trade him for anyone you can possibly get that can start and help you win.
Yep.
That's my analysis.
Yep.
Jalen Hurts, day-to-day, knee, heading into the bye week, so I'm not really worried about this one.
Nope.
Not really worried. Not much to say about it.
Significant, but yeah, he played the rest of the game. He heard it in like the second quarter. Played the rest of the game on that. So I'd expect it to be fine, but it's an injury to like probably the best player on this list. So
yep. TJ Hawkinson, oblique rib, day-to-day. Good morning, Bobby, or afternoon, Bobby. TJ Hawkinson, day-to-day, oblique and ribs. We saw Jalen Waddle miss time with this injury. We saw Jalen T. Higgins miss time with rib injuries. We saw CMC say, F it, I'm going to play. Honestly, it's a pain tolerance thing. That's what I've heard. If TJ Hawkinson can go through it, he will play. This is something to monitor, unfortunately. It isn't something to be said when Josh Dobbs played for the Cardinals. He targeted the tight ends at an alarming rate. So this is something you need to watch because if Josh Dobbs plays with TJ Hawkinson, he will get targeted. Hopefully he plays.
Yeah.
This is for you because you would know more about this. Josh Downs, knee. They're worked out. Sammy Watkins, apparently. Sammy Watkins watch is back, baby. Let's go.
Bro. I hope that goes nowhere, but it's something I think is concerning because they did work out Sammy Watkins. He hurt his knee late in practice late in the week last week. I think Thursday or Friday, whatever the last day of practice was. And then he re-aggravated it during the game. Because they worked out Sammy Watkins, I'm just expecting them to say Downs is out for the rest of the season. I hope he's not. But with a relatively short week going to Germany this week, I would expect him not to play this week.
There you go. All right. Christian Watson, a.k.a. Bust, a.k.a. I can't think of a receiver that just had one good 4-week stretch and just never came back to life, which is Christian Watson. I tried telling y'all all offseason. I don't want to go down that road, but he is chest and back on day-to-day to be determined. We don't know yet. He's unstartable anyway. He's not, especially in that offense. So I wouldn't be worried about that. If you were depending on Christian Watson to help you, I'm sorry, you've already lost.
Yep.
Jaron Hall concussion doesn't matter. He's done for the season because Joshua Dobbs is him. He is the dude. Do not drop Joshua Dobbs whenever he was announced he is heading to the bench like I did. I lost him. I lost him in all my super flex leagues. I dropped him. I was at the Lightning game, and I saw that he was out, and I'm like, he's going to the bench, and I'm like, fuck this guy. I dropped him in every league. Scott Fishbowl. I had Kirk Cousins and Josh Dobbs. Dropped them both at the same time.
Yikes.
Here's where I'm at now. I don't have a top 12 quarterback anymore. Josh Dobbs is the truth. He is going to He's going to win people leagues. He's going to win people leagues, and he's going to lose me my league. And KJ Osborne concussion. I don't think he'll be cleared to play. He got hit pretty hard. He was lifeless for a while. That was scary to see. Sucks. That's all I can say about that. Sucks.
Yeah.
You ready to get into the waivers?
Yeah.
This week's priority waivers.
We're back. We have a bunch of waivers this week, but none of them are priority. I would say none of them. I put only one in must add. Only one, because there's a lot of bye weeks to players this week. We do have. Well, he's not the must add, but we do have bye weeks.
I just realized for some reason he's not there. What happened? Just keep talking. I'll keep
talking. I was getting the bye weeks up. We have Patrick Mahomes on bye. We have Tua on bye. We have Jalen Hurts on bye. So right there, that's 3 top 10 guys already on bye this week. So you're going to be looking for quarterbacks. You're going to be scouring the waiver wire. Sam Howell did not make the list. He is over 50%. And I want to say thank you, OUS crew. Thank you, people. You finally listened to us. You finally picked him up. He's finally over the 50%. I am so tired of talking about him every single week. Thank you.
Yes, finally. Like, why was he not picked up? Like, top 5 quarterback on the season. Anyways,
he doesn't get picked up.
Let's talk about the guy who everybody has to pick up first.
Yep, Josh Dobbs, rostered in 17% of leagues, plays for Minnesota. Of course, we all saw the magical game he had last week. They are playing against New Orleans, who does have a tougher matchup. They are at home though, and this is one more week for Josh Dobbs to get comfortable with that offense and be there with that team. I think he's a must-add, especially if you roster Patrick Mahomes or a Tua or a Jalen Hurts. I would spend not all your fab, but because he is a spot start, but I would make sure you get him. He's the number 1 quarterback streamer on my list. Even though the Saints are a tough matchup, I'd be wary about that. But running quarterbacks can beat a tough matchup with their legs alone. I mean, an extra 35 rushing yards is almost a touchdown. And a touchdown is pretty good in my book. So Joshua Dobbs, number 1. Do you think he should be the number 1 guy on this list, or do you have someone better?
I think so, just because of how many quarterbacks are out this week. Like with bye weeks, as you mentioned, Josh Dobbs at least will fill that gap in this week. He should definitely be looked at, especially with how he quickly picked up the Minnesota playbook. Not even picked up the playbook, I guess, just played backyard football. My only worry, I mean, we saw this with Baker Mayfield last year, where he had 3 days in the building and then was starting Monday Night Football or something like that, or Thursday night, prime time, and then after that he kind of just fell. So I don't think it's going to be with Josh Dobbs. He's got a lot of good weapons. I think he's going to be able to perform, but this week definitely he should be picked up.
All right, here's what I'm going to do first. We're going to go ahead and break down both Houston Texans receivers that should be added this week. Tank Dell and Noah Brown. I know you don't have a graphic for both. I'm throwing a curveball at you. But these guys, you just go back and forth. Let's go back and forth. No, but these guys should definitely both be picked up. Noah Brown, last second. By the way, I just want to brag about this real quick because I've been right about a lot of things this week, especially week 9. I don't know if you saw me about what I said about Tua. I don't know if you read what I said about Devin Singletary. Oh, Dameon Pierce is out. Devin Singletary's stock, and all these stock emojis. And I'm like, guys, Houston can't run the ball. Tampa Bay is top 5 against the rush. The fuck are we doing here? Oh, but he's got all the carries. Okay, cool. And then on the other side, Tua's a top 5 instant start, guys. He's number 1 offense in the league. Okay, they're going overseas. They're playing a good team. They're playing a team that only allows 168 yards through the air on average. But sure, instant start. Congratulations, guys who started him. He didn't do shit for you. I don't know. Maybe I know a little bit about fantasy football. Maybe I don't. Who knows? Maybe I was just lucky. But I will say this. In every league that I could, I snatched up Noah Brown, and I fucking plugged him in. And I know nobody believes me. He was rostered in 2% of leagues. I fucking plugged that guy in, and I was like, this is just like the natural hat trick, baby. I hit the magical 3. Bench Tua, bench Singletary, start Noah Brown. Man, if you follow me on Twitter, you would have got all these right too. That's all I got to say. But Noah Brown has been phenomenal since he's been back. I didn't want to believe it or buy it at all. I'm like, oh, this is Tank Dell. This is whoever. This is Nico Collins. Guys, Nico Collins is the third guy there. I'm sorry to say it. He is the third guy in the building.
And
I don't care what.
Yeah. Plus they have what's his face?
What's his face? Yeah, what's his face is pretty good.
Robert Woods also
Yeah,
on that offense. Yeah, he's done.
So the thing with Noah Brown is he played in 56% of snaps in week 6, week 8, 72%. Against Tampa Bay, it's not out yet. At least we're on this website because they're slackers. But he did have 6 targets. That's the most he's had all season. He had 153 yards. Yes, they were splash plays, but the guy is making plays, and he's very comfortable with C.J. Stroud. On the other side, Tank Dell, he is a big threat, a big play. You saw what they did in the red zone. They really targeted him. My question to you is, if you had to rank Dell or Noah Brown, which way are you going?
I'm taking Tank Dell. He's more explosive, just in general. But if Dave was here, he would say, well, he either has a really big game or a really bad game. So, I mean, that was his argument about Brandon Ayuk. So I'm still taking Tank Dell. I think that rookie tandem that helps with him and CJ Stroud, I think they have a really good chemistry together. I'm trying to look at the games that he did do really well on. He played really well against Indy, Jacksonville, and Tampa Bay. So 3 teams that are just meh, in my opinion. He's going up against Cincinnati, Arizona, and Jacksonville coming up soon. So 2 bottom feeders there, in my opinion. So and then Denver. So I'm still gonna take Tank Dell.
So my thoughts on Tank Dell versus Noah Brown is waiver wire bid is very, like, the money is tight now. We all spent our money. We all bought Joshua Kelly. We all bought these guys. Some of us only had $38. Some of us have $0. Some of us has $12 left in Fab. I don't want to pay up for the name brand Tank Dell because people want Tank Dell. Tank, right? Tank Dell. That's a cool name. He scores the long touchdowns. I'm okay with getting the store brand Noah Brown. Like, I'm okay with getting the generic version because he's getting the same kind of target share. He's getting the same everything. It's just he's going to cost a lot less. People are going to want to go after Tank Dell because he's already widely rostered 48%, where Noah Brown's 2%. So Noah Brown will be added in more leagues because he's just nobody picked him up. I have him everywhere, by the way. So if you're in my league, good luck. I was already on it 2 weeks ago. I will say this. They are both chance players, as in there's a chance they can go off or there's a chance that they do nothing. That's the truth. Nico Collins could take over a game. There is a 3-headed monster there. If I had to rank them, I guess Tank will be 1 because of the explosiveness, because of the plays that he can make. Noah Brown, number 2, because I do feel like he's more comfortable in this offense. And Nico Collins is only in there on 3 wide receiver sets. That's it. He is the third guy there. That's just a fact. So I'm going to rank it that way. Noah Brown's only 27 years old. He was very good in Dallas. He never got the chance because of the talent above him. Now he's getting a chance to play, and I like it, man. But yes, I would prefer Tank, but for the price, I'm going Noah Brown.
That's fair.
Fair. The next guy on our list, someone that Michael Keaton Mitchell, running back, Baltimore Ravens. I don't know what to say. 20% rostered somehow. Somehow 20% of you people knew who this guy was.
I don't know how. I really don't know how. He was a nobody before today or this last weekend.
I will say this. In my home league, Davey has been adding him and dropping him week after week after week. So he is known by some people. And some people I saw on Twitter like highlights, oh, this guy was so some people were calling this. Some people did know about his explosiveness and who he was.
He's had a total of 1.9 yards or 1.9 fantasy points before this weekend.
Yeah, that's true.
And one target, 1 reception, no rushing. So how people knew about him, they must have been big East Carolina fans.
Hey, his 40-yard dash, right? Nothing really stands out. I'm looking at his scores from the combine. Nothing really stands out to me. He's not really that special of a player. But hey, if you're on the Baltimore Ravens, I guess you don't need to be a special player. You can just score touchdowns like Gus Edwards. The problem with this
talked about all season.
Yeah, the problem with this person is Mr. Keaton Mitchell is you don't know if he's going to touch the ball. Was he in there for mop-up duty? they did have Tyler Huntley come in, and they were blowing that team out, so it didn't really matter who was in there.
Yeah,
they didn't need to use.
Gus Bus got 2 touchdowns pretty early in the game on literally 5 attempts. So 2/5 of the time Edwards touched the ball, he scored a touchdown. So maybe they were like, we're up big, like let's pull it back a little bit and get some of these guys some reps. Keaton still only saw the ball 9 times. He just had some explosive plays for 138 yards. So 7 20+ yard runs. That's all you need to know about his rushing.
Yep. Hey, so. but Achane can do that, and we all think he's a fantasy asset. So we do. We think Achane's a fantasy asset. If he was on the waiver wire right now, we would be telling you to spend all your fab on him. And what does he do? Explosive, big 20-yard plays. That's what
I want to see that consistently, though. Like we did that 3 times, I guess.
I'm not saying that Keaton Mitchell is a bum. I'm not saying that he's explosive. I'm just saying we can't say one thing about Achane and then not say the same thing about someone else.
But we also saw that 3 weeks in a row from Achane.
Yeah,
I want to see it 3 weeks in a row from Mitchell.
Of course. So that's why he's definitely worth a look. Worth
get on him early. How about that?
Yep. Cade Otton. Tight end, Tampa Bay. He's had 6, and 9 targets in the past 3 weeks. He's definitely been targeted more than I thought he was. It's up from the weeks before, of course. I only bring him up because there are some tight ends on bye this week. Goddard got hurt, so you're obviously going to find someone. Plus, he was on bye anyway. Kelsey's definitely on bye this week, so you're going to need someone to fill in. Who are the other bye week bums? Tyler Higbee, you weren't using him, and you weren't using Smythe as well. But Cade Otton's a guy who was getting 6 targets a week, and last week was 9. So that's all you want in tight ends. You want volume. You want someone who's going to be targeted. 5% rostered right now. You probably snatch them up for $1 or $1 or $2. I put $4 on him in a league. I have Kelsey. Nothing much to say about this analysis. He's just a check down guy for Baker Mayfield. But this guy, I'm going to let you talk about this guy. Jonnu Smith, tight end Atlanta, 28% rostered. You've been telling us since week.
How is he 28% roster? I just don't get it, guys. Like, he is literally the favorite target in Atlanta. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. Tight end 11 on the season, which is a starter in fantasy leagues for normal 12 person leagues. Kyle Pitts is 16. The only thing that Arthur Smith loves more than Jonnu Smith, which, by the way, both came from the Titans, and Jonnu last was relevant on what team again? The Titans?
Yeah, the Titans.
The only thing that he loves more than Jonnu Smith is not playing Bijan Robinson to his full potential. So 22 and almost 22.5 points last week. He's a stud. The 2 weeks before that were his 2 weakest weeks of the season against Tennessee and against Tampa Bay. I don't know why he's not rostered. I don't get it. I have him starting in every league that I own him in. I have him starting over other wide receivers because he's outplaying the wide receivers most of the time. So I just don't get why he's not rostered.
It's extremely annoying. I'll just say that. Extremely
he is extremely annoying, or that he's only rostered 28%, because this is going to be my new Sam Howell at this point. Like, you have to, why is he not rostered? Roster him.
I hate it so much. Okay, the next guy on our list, and the last guy, I only put this last guy on our list, by the way. You can delete him. I'll delete him right now because it was a Monday night game, and I'm like, hey, he might pop off. But guess what? I'm deleting you from my list because you're in.
We won't even talk about him because he is an embarrassing person.
Demario
I saw him
Douglas
on the list this morning. I was like, why is he on this list? He's a bust. But
I put him on there because the week before he had 5 for 50, and I'm like, well, I'm not going to update this in the morning because you asked me to update it last night, and I'm not going to watch the Chargers and Jets play football last night. I'm sorry, I played Fortnite OG, and I put him on the list. But he's a bum.
You suck. So.
Yeah. Demario Douglas, though, wide receiver, New England Patriots. Honestly, you could put Juju on this list as well. They both had the same amount of fantasy points, to be honest with you. Demario Douglas is just the new hotness, the new guy in town, 34% rostered. Demario Douglas has had 6 targets, 7 targets, and 7 targets in the past 3 weeks against Buffalo, Miami, and Washington. He did catch 5 balls for 55 yards, scored 10.5 fantasy points. He is the number 1 guy there. I mean, you could say Juju is too, because Juju technically did have more fantasy points.
They were pretty much identical last week.
Yep. That's what I was going to say. They are pretty much identical. You just go with who you want. And in fantasy football, I'd rather take the explosive guy with upside rather than the old busted Juju Smith-Schuster. Like he's the definition of old and busted.
Well, like you said, do you want name brand this week or do you want the generic? Name brand would be Juju. Generic would be Demario Douglas.
I don't think Juju's name brand anymore. I think he's to the fact. I think Juju is now like, what is the candy no one likes that is outdated, aged? I can't think of one.
Milky Way? No, nobody ever liked Milky Way.
I like Milky Ways. I like the nougat. I like the nougat.
I don't know. Now,
but anyway,
he's an
now later's freaking rule. What are you talking about?
They do rule. They just
you know what?
Nobody.
You know what?
They're not out there anymore. Like,
you know what? Baby Ruths. You ever see someone eating a Baby Ruth?
That's such an old person candy, but okay.
that's Juju. Like it'll get the job done. It's fine. It's got the sugar. It's got the crunch. It's got the nuts. But you're not really excited for 6 catches for 51 yards off 7 targets.
Right.
Because that's what he gave you last week. Other than that, he was not getting involved at all. The only time he had over 5 targets was week 1 against Philadelphia when they were just trying to figure out their offense. Juju is the guy stepping in. Demario Douglas is the one that's going to stay there for the long term. So they're going to want to see him, what they can do with this young kid. So I would definitely pick up Demario Douglas if you didn't pick him up last week. Yep. And the last thing we will talk about, which is we're not going to spend too much time on this. Just be worried about these 2 players. No funerals, no dropping of these players. But Tua, I do want to bring up Tua, although I did give my speech about you should have benched him last week against Kansas City. But you should be benching him or trying to sell him. You should try. Have you seen his schedule coming up? Have you looked at it? Have you seen the red? Have you seen the teams? So when he comes back from bye, week 11, Las Vegas, that's a decent matchup. Okay.
That's a different team. So yeah.
Then they go at New York Jets, week 12. They shut down quarterbacks.
Complete shutdown.
Week 13, though, at Washington, very juicy. That's going to be a big game for him. That's going to be where you like make your money with Tua. Week 14 against Tennessee, they do shut down quarterbacks in the passing game. Week 15, New York Jets, again, they are tough on quarterbacks. Week 16 against Dallas, again, tough on quarterbacks. Week 17 against Baltimore. I rest my case, dude. Tua is a sell right now. If you can sell Tua right now to anyone, do it. Because I'm telling you right now, Tua's great. Tua's fine. But he gave you 12.42 points against Kansas City. He was the quarterback 15. Against the Giants, against Buffalo, at Buffalo, he was the quarterback 18. Against New England, he was the quarterback 26. He does give you bad weeks. He does give you down weeks. And I'm seeing nothing but red and dark orange going forward with Tua after this bye week.
This is the annual conversation for Tua. 3 weeks into the season, MVP. The rest of the season, Tua's
I'm not going to say it off of one game. He has Tyreek, he has Waddle, he can make plays. Great players overcome great defenses, but the trends are leaning towards he's not going to do well the second half of the season. And if you're not looking at the schedule, it's a big issue because I'm sorry, Tua versus the Jets twice in a row, not in a row, but twice against Dallas, against at Baltimore. It's not looking good for Tua in at least 4 games.
What's the Jets' record right now?
I don't know. Fuck the Jets. Did they win last night?
They're 4-4. So no, they lost. But you got what? 1, 2, 3, 5 games against teams over 500. So that's 5 losses for the Dolphins.
It's not even about the above 500. It's about the defenses. And the point is about the defenses is Tua and Mike McDaniels in this offense as well. The whole team. I said it last night on the Beer and Sports podcast. I'll say it again. They're like, they have a plan going in. And when the plan goes well, the Dolphins do well. Mm-hmm. When the plan gets just sidetracked for a little bit, you could just an inch off the tracks. The whole damn train collapses and they can't figure out how to come back. They cannot play from behind. And if that happens, they're just going to fumble. The next guy on our list and the very last guy we will speak about, Mr. 1, Tony Pollard. This guy has been complete shit show since week 4. Not good. Under 10 fantasy points in 1, 2, 4 out of the last 5 games. I'm so sorry, all of you people. I want an apology. I see your nicknames out there. Zeke who? Zeke this? Zeke. You've been talking about it for years. Zeke's washed. Zeke has never had a stretch of bad games like this in his career, in his prime. Tony Pollard is running back 32 since week 4. 32 since week 4. And we're all still throwing him out there like he's a top 12 guy. Zeke is running back 37, by the way, in the same time frame. They're not that far off. And he's way past his prime. I'd be really worried about Tony Pollard right now. Really worried. By the way, in that same time frame, Ramondre Stevenson's running back 13. I just want to say.
I knew it.
I just want to say. I just want to say that Ramondre's coming back, baby. It's Ramondre season. Let's go. Hype.
Oh my God.
That's where we make our money. This is where we make our money in the playoffs. No, he's not running back 55. But we are going to get on out of here, Justin. We do have to wrap it up. So you want to go ahead and get your fantasy lineup set, your waiver wire set, everything ready for your playoffs because it's coming. If you're not prepping for the playoffs and you're in these top 1, 2, 3, 4 spots in your league, you're doing it wrong. Look at them schedules. Look what Tua's doing. Look at Tony Pollard. Try to unload these guys for guys with better playoff matchups. We're going to cover that tomorrow night on OUS Fantasy Football Podcast right here on the FinSpot Sports Network. Guys, we're out of here. See you tomorrow night.
Thanks for listening. Be sure to like and subscribe wherever you watch or listen to podcasts. Follow on X and Instagram at OUSFFPOD. We'll be back next week for more ways to win your league.